What I can do while we wait for CT is I can tell you a little bit more about her. Her story is actually really, really cool. And she is an awesome storyteller. So you guys will hopefully get some good ones out of her along the way. But Crystal played in college at Georgetown, so right here in Washington, D.C. She's from Chicago. And she started playing in school or like in elementary school because she just wanted to go beat the boys. And she decided, I think she was in third grade, I want to say, if I'm remembering correctly from the story she told me about that she just started playing and picked it up pretty quick. And then all of a sudden she was playing at the top levels in Chicago and the state of Illinois and started to get scholarship looks. And so she wound up at Georgetown. And they had a really successful run while she was at Georgetown. And then instead of coming straight to the NWSL, she went to a couple of different places around the world. So she's played in a couple of different countries. She played in, I believe it was Denmark. So that was a kind of a cool experience for her. And she told me this really great story on our podcast about how her dad had promised her to come to a game. And obviously her dad is over here in America. And it took until the last game of the season, but he surprised her and just knocked on her door in Denmark. So a foreign country all the way in Europe and made the last game. So that was really cool. They went hiking up a mountain that was really snowy and dangerous, but they survived. So that was good too. And then she also has played in a place the last couple of winters that is the opposite of cold and snowy. She played in Australia as well. So you guys can ask her about what it's like to play, obviously what her experience was like as a youth player, and then what her experience was like as an international player or an American playing somewhere else, and then what it's been like to play in the NWSL. So she came to us last year, and here she is coming in right now. She came to us last year, a little bit after the start of the season, and was a huge contributor and wound up playing a lot actually down the stretch, including, as I mentioned earlier, our games at Audi, where she did score against Ashlyn Harris in Orlando Pride. And yes, she's also just, I was hoping to give her this compliment while she wasn't here, but CT is one of my favorites on the team because she is just such an awesome person and a great storyteller. So without further ado, you guys can start raising your hand. And Crystal, I was just giving kind of your background and where some of the places that you played and all that kind of stuff. But I'll let you say hi real quick, and then we'll get to some questions. Oh, Crystal's muted. Womp womp.
Thanks, Craig.
You got it.
Hey, everybody.
I'm tired of hearing from me.
It's good to see you. Thanks for coming on. I'm excited to talk to you guys and answer questions.
So if you guys can go ahead and raise your hand, then we can get to some questions. You guys don't want me to ask Crystal questions. She's had enough of my questions over the last couple of months. All right, let's go to, is it Natty?
So when you were little, did you ever thought you would be on the Spirits team?
That is a great question. So when I was younger, I definitely wanted to play professionally, and I wanted to be on the U.S. women's national team, and I still do. But I wasn't sure which team I was going to get to be on, and if I'd get to be on one, and how that would all work. But I knew that if I joined a good soccer team and I had a good coach to help me continue to progress, then I'd be able to get there. I do remember I was in fourth grade, and my dad took me to see the women's national team. I got to see Mia Hamm, which is kind of like the equivalent of Alex Morgan, I guess. And I got to see her play and score 150th goal, and that was like a really big moment for me to get to be there and be at that game. And I got her autograph and everything. And now I get to play in front of a bunch of fans just like she was and help my team win and play for God's glory. So it's been a pretty cool journey. Thanks for that question.
I think one of the really cool things that's unique about where we are now as a league, Crystal, when you were, let's see, how old are most of you guys on this call? Can a couple of you guys just unmute yourselves and tell me how old you are? We got some 10, I see some 10, 11. 11. Okay. So CT, when you were 11, let's say, was there a women's league at that point? Would that have been WPS?
Yeah, so I think we had the WPS at that point, and that league actually ended. It folded. So then there was this time of like, is there going to be women's professional soccer? What's going to happen? And then about 8 years ago, the NWSL formed, and that was really huge and great for the game. And I think that this is a league that could be around when you guys are ready to turn professional. So it's a really exciting thing.
Yeah, because there's some of our players that are even just a little bit older than Crystal that didn't really have a league, so they didn't have any women to look up to, and so that's kind of the cool thing about you guys now. You have people like Crystal. All right, let's go to Maddie. Thanks, Maddie, for your question. Go ahead.
When you were growing up, is there any other sports you liked other than soccer?
That is a great question, Maddie. Yes. I played basketball up until high school, and I loved it. And I actually had to choose between soccer and basketball. I was a point guard. So if you play other sports, do you play any other sports, Maddie?
I enjoy some for fun, not as much as soccer, though.
Okay, nice. That's perfect. I think other sports can help you just in terms of your development of your athleticism and your coordination, teamwork, all those things. I think it can be really good. And for me, I think playing basketball was just a really fun outlet and helped me work on my quickness and agility for my soccer season.
All right, let's go to Beatrice.
Are you excited for the Utah tournament?
Hey, Beatrice. Yes, I am super pumped. I think the whole team has just been waiting to play games and get out on the field and actually get to compete. And I bet you guys have kind of been in that same boat. You just want to play, right? Like, you just want to get to practice, get to play some games. So for me, I am really excited that the league has figured out a way to do this as safely as they can and get us playing games and get some games on TV. So I think it'll be great for the league and great for our team. I think our team is ready. We've been working so hard by ourselves for so long that when you finally get to go play in front of a group of people, it's pretty awesome. Even if you can't see the people, and just to be with our team, like, and play a real game is just going to be so fun. We did like an inter squad scrimmage the other day. And it was just so cool to just have that environment. Everybody was really excited. So yes, definitely. I'm excited. Are you excited about it?
Yeah.
Do you guys know where to watch?
CBS.
Yes.
There we go. So
Well
make sure that your parents have gotten CBS All Access. That's where you're going to be able to watch all of our games. So that's going to be really exciting to be out there. And it's super fun to be able to have soccer games again. All right, let's go to Anna. Is it Anna or Anna?
Anna, thank you.
Anna. Yep.
So, I know as a soccer player, one time I had to walk out with a team, and I was so nervous. I was like literally dying. I was freaking out. Have you ever gotten nervous during a game, or maybe some of your earlier games, especially like this year? Have you ever had like nerves before a game?
Yes, Anna, that is a really good question. And my answer is definitely I have. I still get nervous before a game. I still get nervous before, big moments, big games. And it, just like what you were saying before you walked out, right? You were like, oh my goodness, like kind of like shaky a little bit. I think that is totally okay. I think that's normal. I think the best players in the world have that. And it's almost a good thing. I think if you can use that and kind of turn it into excitement, you're like, okay, I'm nervous. And you take that as like, oh, that means like, I'm excited. I get to go play. I get to do what I love, what I've been practicing for. And that's kind of what I carry with me. So, for instance, I had a big game last year and I was getting ready for it. I think I was talking to my dad. He's just a helpful, just kind of like voice for me. And he just reminded me, he was like, yeah, just remember what you did in training this week, like how well you did, the goals that you scored, how you've been preparing. I mean, I've been training since I was like 8 or 9 years old. Just like for you, you're like, yeah, like I've been training so hard all year. I'm ready. I'm going to do well. And you might make a mistake on the field, but at least you're out there like being willing to make mistakes and you can get better. So for me, I'm just always trying to get a little bit better every day. and every game. So I'm going to learn from whatever mistake I made, but also I'm going to be willing to mess up. I'm going to be willing to take the shot, even if, it might not be, you're Michael Jordan. Do you guys know who Michael Jordan is?
Yeah.
Yes. Nice. He missed a lot of shots, and he missed a lot of shots at the end of the game when the whole team was counting on him. But he made a few, and that's what his teammates remember. They don't remember all the ones that he missed. I'm sure that's probably what he thinks about too. So I think it's important to take the shot. What position do you play, Anna?
I play right wing.
Right wing. Nice. Yeah. I also play right wing and right forward.
Yeah. I've always been like a forward or a right wing for the past 3 years straight.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love it. Well, thanks for your question.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Let's go to Lulu up next.
Did you ever, when you were playing basketball, did you ever miss any friends there? Did you have really good friends, but then when you got more serious in soccer, did you miss them while you were playing? Did you miss them when you were more focused on soccer and then didn't see them as much?
Yeah, Lulu, and I wonder if maybe you're speaking from personal experience too. Yeah. So for me, when I decided to focus on soccer, it meant that I didn't get to hang out with my high school friends, my freshman year of high school, and that was really hard. But then, and the same thing, when I switched soccer clubs, when I was in, 5th and 6th grade, I played for this one team and I loved it. And my friends were on that team. And then I needed to switch to another team to kind of help me continue to reach my goals. And I think that depends on what you want. If you want to stay and be with your friends, that's one thing. If you want to continue to up your game and there's another place that's going to be the best option for you, that's a good way to do it. And I ended up switching and I missed my old friends, but I stayed close with the ones that a couple of them, and even to this day, we're still friends. And then I made new friends as well that I'm super close with, and some of those friends play professionally with me now. So I think it's definitely hard, but also I'm still the ones that I was closest to that I really cared about. I still stayed in touch with them. And I don't know I know that's difficult. Has that been hard for you at all, Lulu?
Yeah, because I do another sport and I'm more serious with gymnastics and soccer. But and I miss my friends a lot because I don't get to hang out with them as much because we have long practices, as you can see on my shirt.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah, I think that's a hard one, but if you're able to kind of balance that and still get to do what you love and what you care about, I think that's a good way to do it. And then just maybe make a special effort to talk to those friends whenever you can, and give them a call, stop by, say hello when you can.
Yeah.
Thanks for your question, Lulu. Let's go to Kate.
What are you doing during quarantine, and what are you eating to stay in shape for the soccer season?
All right. Thanks, Kate. Also, I see, is that a Georgetown G there, Kate?
Yes.
Yes. I love it.
In Georgetown.
What did you say?
I have a poster from when you were at Georgetown in my room.
That's awesome.
I love it. Well, yeah, go Hoyas. I love your shirt. Yeah, so what I'm eating right now, today for lunch, the team actually provided a meal. So it was grilled chicken with rice and some grilled veggies. It was delicious, but that's not every meal. I also had an Oreo. Yes, Maddie. But for me, it's listening to my body. If I'm hungry, okay, it's time to eat, making sure that I'm getting some protein, some carbs, and some fats. I'm fueling my body. I think it's definitely different for every individual player, and what you need for your family, and with your family, what you talked about. For me, I need to make sure that I'm giving myself enough energy to be able to play. Tonight, I'll probably have some sort of chicken salad with rice, and it will be delicious with some honey mustard or something,
Ooh.
and maybe some more Oreos. But I do eat other things other than that. That's just what I have in the fridge right now.
Hold on. Let's go back to the Oreos. You just said one Oreo?
Yes.
What kind of superhuman are you that you can stop at one Oreo? I've never been able to do that.
I didn't have a ton of time. I had to get to my next workout. So I was like, all right, I'll just take one and go.
Even when there's only one left, somehow I still find a way to eat 3. I'm like, I don't even know where these other 2 came from.
Why did I get these? Did I open a new pack?
You can't just stop at one. You're a miracle worker, CT.
Thank you. I'm working on it. But Kate had one other question.
Okay.
You asked what I did during quarantine to stay busy. Is that right, Kate?
Yeah.
I did some reading. I talked to a lot of my friends on Zoom calls, like a lot, because I love talking to people. So not being able to see my friends was like pretty hard for me. So yeah, I talked to people. I read some books. I did a lot of working out, and I watched a couple shows with my host family. I live with a family in the area, so stayed busy.
All right, let's go to Isabella.
What is the most number of goals you scored in a game?
Hey, Isabella. I think 4, maybe. Probably that would have been in high school, though. And I think I've gotten some 2-goal games as a professional. Yes.
Australia, Denmark, or NWSL?
Yes, Scandinavia and.
Nice. Oh, that's right. You played in Iceland too. I forgot about that.
No. Good job though. Yeah. So I think I had some goals there. But Isabella, are you a forward? Is that why you're? What position do you play?
I usually play back right.
Okay, nice. So you're stopping the goals, but maybe occasionally you can make a run up, hit a long shot. That's cool. But yeah, and then some games, you don't get a goal, but you shoot the ball, and then the goalkeeper spills it, and then your teammate kicks it in, and you win the game. And it's like, all right, this is great too.
Let's go to Maddie Landis.
Hi. Have you ever flip-flopped between positions? Because over the past year, I flip-flopped from playing midfield to striker to then being goalie, which was a lot.
Yeah, that is a lot. So on one end, they've got you scoring goals, and then they're like, all right, defend the goals and do the midfield. Okay. That's a lot. I have flip-flopped actually last year with the Washington Spirit. I started out as a wide forward, and then sometimes in training, coach would just need me to play center mid. And then one game, he just decided that I was going to play center mid. And it worked out super well. And I just had to be able to kind of adjust on the fly. So, and now he knows that he has that option kind of all the time if he needs me. So, Maddie, I think that's awesome that you're able to play multiple positions. And I think as long as you can carry that through, is assuming you enjoy them all, that's sweet. Yeah. Do you enjoy them?
Goalie is definitely my favorite position to play, but yeah, I enjoy playing pretty much all positions. As long as I get to play, I'm good.
Okay. So yeah, I relate. That's awesome. I love that. Well, also, if you're a goalkeeper, that's really important, and it takes a special teammate to be able to put themselves on the line like that. I have a lot of respect for goalkeepers. I could not play goalie.
Yeah, it's strange.
That's funny.
Thank you.
That's a great point too. That, like, Maddie, I love what you just said there. And so many of our players, from CT to basically every other player, always will say, like, I don't really care what position I play as long as I play. They just want to be out there. And we have a bunch of super versatile players that will wind up interchanging, and not just interchanging like, hey, you're starting on the right side today and then you're in the middle. Like in the game, because we have so much versatility, our coach will allow players to move around a little bit as long as everybody fills the role. So being able to understand what your teammates are doing, like that's going to be a huge skill. And you can also, when you're in goal, direct them, which is great too. Let's go to Natty. I'm going to come back to you. I do see you again. I'm going to let some other people get their first question in. Let's go to, okay. Then we can put your hand down. Let's go to Amaris.
My question is, have you had any like serious injuries before?
Okay. Good question, Maris. Thanks for bringing that up. I think that's a topic that we don't like to talk about, and a lot of people, they get hurt and they're like, I'm the only one, like, am I going to be able to come back from this? Have people had this happen to them and then still been able to make it and meet their potential? So for me, yeah, when I was in college, I strained a tendon in my hamstring, which if you don't know a lot about tendon injuries, they take a lot longer than muscle injuries because they don't get as much blood flow. So I was out for a couple of months with that. Ended up, I went in to see the physical therapist, just thinking that maybe it would take like a week or something. I didn't really know. And he's looking at it under the thing. And you know how doctors do that thing and they're like, you're like, what, just tell me. And he was like, yeah, this will probably take like, I don't know, like 3 to 9 months. And I was like, what? I was really thrown off. It ended up taking, somewhere in between that. But it was really hard and I was in pain, just like walking around all the time. But I came back from it, and I think I'm stronger now because of it. I learned a lot from watching training all the time. And I also really started to appreciate the ability to play and train and get better. And now I do a lot of hamstring exercises on my own to keep my hamstrings strong. Because of the type of player I am, I'm very like explosive and quick. So keeping that stuff kind of like strong has been really important. So probably protected me from other injuries down the line.
Take care of your hamstrings. They are not fun to deal with. I've got a pulled hamstring right now. Not fun. Don't pull your hamstrings.
What happened?
I was sprinting and I hadn't in a while, and it didn't feel very good. It's all right. I'm old, CT. That's what happens.
You're not old.
Don't get old, kids. That's my advice to you. And take care of your hamstrings. Let's go to Camilla. Where's Camilla at? There we are.
Where do you practice soccer?
Can you say that again, Camilla?
Where do you practice? So let's go during quarantine, and then let's take it like regular season, not where we're having to go right now because of COVID.
Okay. So I during quarantine, sometimes I was just using the yard. I'm fortunate that I have a yard, but it was kind of like bumpy and holy, so that was challenging. And then sometimes I was using like a parking lot, an empty parking lot, to just try to like get touches in and do my running and stuff, which was not ideal either. But I kind of had to work with whatever I could find that was within the regulations, and then normally we practice at the Maryland Soccerplex. So there's a couple of fields in the back behind the stadium that are super nice. So it's a good place. I don't know. Have you ever played any games there?
No.
Well, hopefully you will soon. They're pretty cool.
Yeah. So we actually play the majority of our games for CCL at the Soccerplex. So we're out there a good bit.
Okay. Nice.
Cool. And then next year we'll be moving our headquarters to Virginia, out to Segra. So we will be out in Loudoun County as of next year. So it's kind of a weird transition year for us right now. But soon we'll be practicing in Utah. So that'll be cool. Let's go back to Natty.
So when you practice, what are some moves that you would usually do?
I love this question. So I like to do moves. I really like to do the scissors. It's one of my favorite moves. I'm sure. I bet Nick has made you guys do that one. If I had to guess, I like the step over. That's a good one. And just like the fake shot and then shooting, I think is a good one too. Do you have a favorite move, Nettie?
Yeah. I like scissors too. And my dad is actually a coach, so he coaches me and my rec team. So he taught me a fake out move, and it's really good and useful. And another question I have is what game have you won and there was a lot of goals that your team put into it?
Oh, I have to think about that one. Let's see here.
I feel like Orlando last year was our highest scoring win for the Spirit side. I mean, you might have had some games in Australia and other places that you want to talk about, but I think for Spirit, that was the highest one we had last year, the 3-0 win in October.
I think it was, yeah. So last October, it was right towards the end of the season, and we were all getting kind of fatigued and just tired. And actually, I got to play. I started at center mid that game, which was pretty cool. Even though I'm normally an outside forward or a center forward, and I passed the ball to Ashley Hatch in the first half, and she dribbled all the way half of the field and scored. It was a sweet shot. It was awesome. So she scored, and we were ahead. And then later in the second half, we were pressuring them in their end, and we forced a giveaway. It went to my teammate. She tried to dribble. It kind of spilled out, and it came to me, and I dribbled it once, and then I megged the goalkeeper, and we scored. So that was fun. And then later, one of the girls that hadn't gotten a lot of playing time that season due to injuries and other factors, she was on the field, and she got the ball at the top of the box and just shot it, and she scored, which was just a really cool moment for the whole team. So, yeah, I think was that 3-0, Craig?
Yeah, that was 3-0. And then you guys also had a 4-3 game against them, I think, where you lost, but that was, I think, the highest scoring game of the year last year.
Oh, yeah. So, yeah,
Jordy scored in then the 94th minute to make it 4-3, but it was too little too late.
Yeah, I remember. So that game, it was actually raining super hard in Orlando. It was just a downpour. And the game got delayed I don't know, an hour and a half or something, or 2 hours. So we're just we were just sitting in the locker room for an hour and a half. And we finally get to go out there, and unfortunately we ended up losing 4-3. But there was so many goals. I think Marta scored once or twice, and Jordy scored for us. Bailey Feist scored for us, and
was that the back heel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite goals that I've ever seen.
It was sweet, and we scored one other. I don't remember how, but it was a crazy game.
What about overseas? What's the craziest? Because I'm sure you go to Iceland and some leagues where it's not. Because the cool thing about our league is every team is almost the same level of good. But over in Europe and some of the places that Crystal's played, Australia too, some of the leagues, the teams at the bottom are not nearly as good at the leagues as the top. So did you ever have a crazy we won 11-0 kind of game? Yeah,
I think we won 8-0. My very first game in Iceland, I think. We were playing, we were just playing another team in the league, and it was our home opener, and it was awesome. Yes, so we won. One of my teammates had a hat trick. I scored a goal, and the goalkeeper on the other team was a girl that I had grown up playing with.
That's cool. Well, not for her.
Yeah, I mean, it was a bummer for her, but I knew that her team would improve. By the end of the year, they were quite good. They had a bad start. And yeah, she ended up leading them, and they actually did decently. but it was a really cool game, and it's just cool to have that experience. And it's crazy that still in any game you could just, if you score all your chances, you might win 5-0. I think that's the coolest thing for me about soccer is it doesn't really matter where each team was going into the game. When the whistle blows, it's 0-0. Like nobody has an advantage, and you can win by getting one chance and scoring, and that's the game. So for me, that's encouraging as a player, because if the other team has the ball and I'm not getting it very much, it doesn't really matter. I don't need to get frustrated because we're probably going to get one opportunity and I'm going to do my best with it.
Definitely. Yeah. That was a great question. That was fun to think about all those games. Thanks for the question. Let's go to Anna again.
Okay. So obviously you're very successful. And I just wanted to ask you, I feel like probably for you, everything went pretty quick and your success, because you are still pretty young. So did you ever question yourself or think maybe this isn't the best, like maybe this career isn't going to work out, or like maybe I shouldn't be doing this or something? Like, did you ever question yourself throughout your career?
Yeah, that's another good question, Anna. So to answer your question, basically, yes. When I was in college, I remember there was a time where I was experiencing a setback, and I was in the car with my dad, I think after the game, and I was upset, and I was just like, what if this affects my ability to play professionally? How is this going to affect things? Like, what's going to happen? And am I going to be able to do this still? And he looked at me and he said, Crystal, if that's what you want to do, then go get it. Go do it. You can do it. You just have to choose to commit and be willing to make sacrifices. And you have to believe in yourself that you can do it. So I think everyone has doubts. And the difference is that you're willing to take the risk and put in the work and believe in yourself, knowing that everyone else has the same fears and doubts that you do. They're human too. And you have to be willing to go for it. So yes, I think I've had that thought, and I think that most players have had that thought. And if you or any of you guys have experienced that, that's okay. If you want to be a professional or whatever you want to do, if you want to be a scientist or a doctor or a teacher, anything, it's okay to have doubts, but you can still do it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. Yeah.
Hopefully that was not too like telling you what to do. I just want you to know that that's fairly normal, and it does help to have a good support group around you. Like if there's someone in your life that tells you that you can do it, and they know what they're talking about, whether that's your coach or a good friend, or even if you just like write it down like on a sticky note and put it on your door frame so you see it every day, like I can do this, even if it's hard, and even if I couldn't do it yesterday. I think that's helpful for me.
Let's go to Kate again. Hey, Kate.
Hi. How many juggles can you do in a row?
One time, a long time ago, I did like 700 in a row. But then I stopped juggling because training was starting, and I prefer to play. I think juggling is important in terms of like just your touch and your ability to control the ball. And if you get really good at it, say you can get like 100 in a row, right? Which is hard to do, but I think if you work at it, you can. Then you can start to try to mix it up. And it's okay if you drop it. It's like, okay, I'm going to do one low one, one high one. I'm going to do two with my right, two with my left. Or I'm going to kick it against the wall, kick it up, and then control it down. Just you got to find a way to keep it fun for you, Kate. So sometimes juggling is really fun. Sometimes it can feel boring. So if you don't want to just do straight juggling when you're on your own, not when coach is telling you what to do, maybe you can try to do some of those variations. Does that make sense, Kate?
Yes.
There was a great one that our first skills challenge was that Jordy did. It was like right one, left one, right two, left two, right three, left three. That was cool. I've seen some cool around the world ones too that I like.
Yeah.
I can't do them, but I mean, they're super cool for talented people who can. Let's see. Do we have anybody else? We got time for a couple more if anyone wants to raise their hand. I have a question for you though, CT. I was thinking about this. Because you're playing in the best league in the world right now. Everyone's incredibly good. But what separates the absolute best? So obviously on our team, we have Rose Lavelle, we have Andy Sullivan, who are two of the very best players in the world. Jordan DiBiase is right there. What separates like a Rose Lavelle from even another great NWSL player, a truly world-class player? What's the difference in that kind of player?
I think there are a few differences. Two of them that I would point out. The first one is that she's able to do the really simple things like take the ball out of the air or have a good first touch. You give herself good options like 95% of the time. And I think that's so important. Just being able, I think what's the difference for many players that are at the highest level is that they can do the simple things really well at a really high speed when there's defensive pressure coming at them, like high pressure. Mm-hmm. So I think that's one thing. And two, I think she's willing to take the game, and I think all of us are striving to do this and able to do it on some level, take the game into our control. So say the team is tied and we need a goal, you have to be willing to be like, okay, I'm going to go score the goal. Like, I'm going to make this happen. And I think that's something you see with a lot of the best players in our league and in the world. So, for instance, in the World Cup last year, when you saw Rose get the ball and be willing to kind of take the risk and shoot it after dribbling a couple players and score, I think that's one of the things that it takes. And then if you look at some of the defenders, they're willing to put themselves on the line to make that block or make a crazy play like that. That's a good question.
I love so I was thinking about it because this is a bit of a name drop, but this is a very cool thing that I got to do today. I was actually at Brianna Scurry's house today to work on something. Does everybody here know who Brianna Scurry is?
You want me to tell them, Craig?
Yeah, you can tell them for those that don't know. I saw a lot of yeses, which is encouraging.
Yes. Yeah, it seems like they do. But for if you don't, or if you have some idea, she was the goalkeeper for the women's national team for many years back in the 90s. One of the best goalkeepers we've ever had. And she won a lot of games and won the World Cup, and she's fantastic. Yeah. So what were you doing over there, Craig?
I was actually recording the script for our jersey reveal video. So this is top secret. You guys can't tell anyone, but our jersey reveal is going to have Brianna Scurry's voice on it. She's telling a story, which is just incredible. Yes. And so I got to go over there this morning, but we were talking about I basically asked her the same question, and she said the same thing. She said, the thing that makes goalkeepers and any player elite is, and like U.S. national team level, is the ability to do the simple things every time. You don't make the silly mistakes because you're just so proficient at the simple stuff, and then occasionally you do something spectacular. Mm-hmm. As opposed to we think of like, oh, can you do the super amazing thing? So I think it's interesting that you said basically the same thing. So you might be onto something. All right, let's get a couple more questions in. Let's go to Karis, and I hope I'm saying that right.
Yeah, you are. Hi. Has anyone told you that you couldn't do it, that you couldn't make it, and how did you get through that? How can you pursue through that?
Yes. So I have had that, Karis. Good question. Very relevant. I think very relevant question. For me, I think there's always going to be someone who either thinks you can't do it, and maybe they have sometimes those people have good intentions. Sometimes they're just they're trying to help you. This is what they think is true or what they think is best. And sometimes they have bad intentions, right? Like they don't want what's best for you, or they have some other agenda that they're trying to get across. So you have to kind of differentiate between the two of those. And sometimes they just, like I said, they have good intentions, but they don't know. For me, when that's happened, I've had to kind of have a little bit of introspection and be like, okay, why are they saying that? And what can I do to make my chances of making it even higher? So for me, I usually just had to pretty much ignore those people, to put it the best I can, and say, okay, this is my goal. This is what I want to do. And I know that I can do it. How do I do it? And for me, that meant working really hard and talking to as many people as I could and listening to my coaches in terms of when they said, hey, you need to work on this. You need to get better at this. And I had to work on those things and knowing my strengths. So I had to play to my strengths. I'm quick, I'm fast, and I'm good at scoring goals. But I'm not a good goalkeeper. I'm probably not a good center back, most of the time. So I play to my strengths. If that's what I'm good at, I need to make sure that I'm displaying that on the field and doing it well. I think when I was younger, if I was trying to do well or impress people, I would try to dribble more. And that's not always the best thing. You have to know what's the best for the situation and then use your strength in that way. So maybe that was taking one touch to get out of trouble and then passing it. Maybe that's just scoring a goal. So for me, to try to summarize my answer, I would say to take criticism, but not to take one person's opinion or two people's opinion and decide what you're going to do in what your dreams are based on that. I don't think that you can base it on two other people's opinions. You need to decide yourself. And I think that you have the resources and probably the people supporting you to help you to accomplish what you want to accomplish.
Let's go to Isabella.
What is the hardest thing you had to overcome?
The hardest thing I had to overcome, I think there's a lot of, the injuries definitely have been hard. The one I mentioned in college, and just having to work through that. Sorry, I can hear my dog is crying because my host mom just left and he hates it when she leaves. So I was taking my time there because I was listening to see if the dog was okay. I was like, is something happening to the dog?
Gotta take care of the doggo.
Yeah, sorry, no, the dog's okay. It was just sad that somebody left the house. I think the biggest thing in pro soccer though is uncertainty. There's a lot of uncertainty. You don't know which team is gonna pick you up. You don't know how things are gonna play out. You can't always control everything. You don't know when you're gonna get your opportunity to play and do well. So I think that's a big thing, and you have to be comfortable being uncomfortable, which is a cliche, but can be true. I think, being willing to put myself in a hard position, to have to earn your spot on a team. It's really uncertain and it's uncomfortable, but you have to just be willing to take the risk. Because I think for me, I would regret it if I didn't try and then be like, why was I really afraid of failure? Because a lot of the most successful people in the world, athletes and non-athletes, they've had failures and they learn from them.
All right, let's go to Maddie for what'll be our last question.
Yay. I would like to ask, I asked this to Rose Lavelle, and I'm going to ask it to you now. Who's the most encouraging person on the team?
Oh, that's a good question.
That is a good question.
We have a couple. I can't choose just one, so I'm going to choose a couple.
I like this.
Ashley Hatch is a good friend of mine, and so she's very encouraging. And just in general, she's quieter sometimes. So when she does give encouragement, you know that she means it. and she's thoughtful about it. I would also say Jordan DiBiase is super encouraging. And I think she wrote me, well, my guess is that she wrote me a note. It was anonymous. Wrote me a note last year that was like, hey, just love having you on the team. I think you've been doing great. I'm just so encouraged by you. My best guess is that it was from her, just based on how it was written. And she's like that in person too. And I love that about her. And I think also all of our captains are encouraging. Andy, Tori, and Aubrey. And especially Andy is helpful in bringing people up to the level that they can be at. So that was a lot of people I mentioned, but I think it's good when you have a hard time choosing.
So technically everyone's helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that seems like it's a cop out, but I would say
it's true.
It's true, and I think it takes the whole team. And I would definitely say that Jordy and Hatchie are both very encouraging. Maddie, do you have someone on your team you have in mind?
Mostly I would agree with you. A lot of people are on my team. I know some people here are on my start. I know some people here are in rec with me used to be the U of 11. Mm-hmm. But in my team, I have Lulu, Nazi, and Lillian.
Nice.
They're here right now.
That's awesome. Yeah, good teammates are hard to replace.
Mm-hmm.
And we're lucky with the spirit that we legitimately have an entire team of really good people. But I don't think I've ever seen Jordy or maybe Jordy once, but Hatch I've never seen sad, mad, upset, anything. She's relentlessly positive.
Definitely.
Which is amazing. So you need those people. CT, any parting wisdom on the way out?
No, I just appreciate you guys coming on and asking questions and listening. It's always fun. And I wish you all the best. Find me on Instagram if you have more questions. Where
can they hit you up there? What's your handle?
It's C_Thomas_go.
So you can follow her there.
Cool.
And she has a really cool video that she put up this week that I wish I knew how to make it. I didn't make that one, the super cool picture video. People ask,
you do make cool videos.
We try.
Yeah, guys, check out my video. It's pretty cool.
So make sure you go follow her there. I love that so many of you knew about Utah. That makes me so happy, and we can't wait to get out there and play for you guys. So we know you'll be watching, and we'll see you on CBS All Access on June 30th. Anna, anything else? I want to thank WAGS for making this all possible. They're an amazing organization. So as you guys interact with WAGS, make sure you say, hey, thanks for that time I got to talk to Crystal Thomas. Anything else, Anna? I know we got some summer camps on the horizon, potentially.
Yes. Everybody, don't forget to check out our website and our social media. We have our summer training centers on the week of August 10th and a second week on the week of August 17th. We would love to have you there. So all the information is on the website, and you can always email me if you have any doubts. My email is on the website as well.
Yep, so you just go to WashingtonSpirit.com and you can find that, and it'll be really cool to see you guys out there. So with that, thank you. This was a lot of fun, and Nick, thank you, and hopefully we'll see everybody here again in the next couple of weeks. Maybe we'll do one of these from Utah. So I don't know. I don't want to speak out of turn, Anna.
Thank you to all of y'all for making this happen as well. I think
absolutely.
Hope all the girls enjoyed it, and thank you, Crystal.
Stay safe, everybody. Y'all be good.
Thanks, Nick. Thanks, Anna.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Welcome.
Have a nice day.
Thank you. You too.